Hey, this is Anthony from RevZilla. Watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new Dainese Course D1 boot available at RevZilla.com. Dainese made me happy this time around. New for the fall of 16 going into 17, this is the Course D1 that I'm giving you a lovely spin on right now. This replaces the TR Course, and where it lives within the Dainese lineup is, in my opinion, a mid-range to premium track-oriented boot. Now, this is the first boot in the Dainese line when we think about price points starting from low to high that gets you to the track. They have the Nexus. In my opinion, the Nexus is not a track boot. There are other manufacturers that make sub $300 track boots. In my opinion, Dainese has come out of the gates and said there's a minimum level of technicality, protection, and comfort that we will put into our boots if we want you to go to the track. And for that, you're investing north of the $300 mark. What I love about it is just over the $300 mark, and I feel like it gets all the steak of the Torque D1, which is new as well, the redesign, the restyling, the new axial system, which again overhauls the protection as the integrated ventilation system, but you're not investing in any of that sizzle. So when I say the sizzle, there's a couple key features that separate this from a Torque D1, and they're really gonna be a speedlay system on the inner booty, which doesn't exist on this boot. They've changed the bellows and gotten rid of one vent, which I think is something that may or may not be a deal breaker for you. And then the other thing is you're no longer getting magnesium hard part and sliders. So if you go to that Torque D1 for another 60 or 70 bucks, you get magnesium sliders on the lateral side and on the toe slider. But what I'll tell you is that this perforated fluoro black, I think it looks really cool with the two-tone sliders. So I'm looking at this boot saying the Course D1 is probably gonna become the juggernaut in the sport race family from Dainese. You have some racers out there that are going to invest a little bit higher end to go to that Torque, and then from there you're in the Axial Pro. But again, I'm a fan. You can tell I was a fan of the Torque D1, getting close to that $400 mark. A lot of overhauls. The TR Course that came before this, I didn't even put one on the table today because this is a brand new boot into the next millennium. Here from Dainese, it was a long time coming. They really stepped up. And the fact that this guy is closer to the $300 mark just makes it that much more attainable. Now, I'm going to say that let's talk about fit here when we look at these two boots. Remember, I have a perfed and a non-perfed version. They're microfiber. Again, they're extremely lightweight. From a fit scheme, you have a couple things going on here. It's going to be fine for the American market. The arch isn't overly high. The width isn't overly wide. But what you have is the inner booty system, and you can see that it has a piece of Velcro, but there's no laces. So the inner booty system, you're just using it, but you're not lacing it up. You go to the TR, or you go to the Torque for that. Remember, this is the Course D1. The other thing that's really cool is the wing factor along the back. Depending on the circumference of your calf, you have the ability to adjust the circumference around your calf. And again, that's a nice touch. So fit-wise, doesn't bug me. It moves, it flexes with you. Notice this is the axial distortion system here that gives you this hinge piece, which streamlines everything, keeps it close from a torque or torsional standpoint, also limits hyperflex and hyperextension while keeping it away from your controls. They've done a nice job. Remember, fit-wise, use the size chart. No surprises there. We'll ship for free over 39 bucks. If you have any concerns, I'd love if you click our logo, subscribe to us at RevZilla on our YouTube channel, leave me your comments, your questions, your feedback on the new Course D1. Now, it is CE rated, and you can see here on the stiff scale, it is quite flexible. I would say that over the previous version, it's more flexible, and they've done that by reducing materials that are going to bunch up when you're using your toe. Again, they did that on the TR, or they did that on the Torque as well, and again, that allows you to get more tactile response from your bike. It's using the new D-Tech style race sole. Again, great response on the pegs, grip for around the paddock, beefy in and around the midpoint of your foot with a new shock absorber in the heel. So again, new technology upgrading the comfort factor, and again, slightly still on this fit scheme, but you can see how it ties in with the boot itself. You have your big slider along the front that's done in two-tone that wraps around, and along the back, you get this hard plastic TPU that builds a nice ankle cockpit here. Again, ankle cockpit, heel cockpit, and you do have the heel counter in the back. None of these hard parts are replaceable, but again, you heard me say it multiple times, I like the pop of color. I like the two-tone effect. I think it looks super badass. Now, if we get into some of the other materials, we talked about this big hard plastic connector piece. Again, part of this axial distortion system here. If we look at it, vented here, vented here. On the pegs in that position, air flows in through the top, it exits through the bottom. So again, you get a ventilative effect, and we'll see here on this air version, you are using localized perforation. Again, small perforation away from the seams for strength, and it is on top of synthetic leather. They call that microfiber. Again, it's done for strength. strengths, lightweight, and it's very consistent. What doesn't bug me, most of the time on race-oriented boots, you're seeing synthetics. And synthetics are very consistent, they're very predictable. Again, there's a reason most manufacturers are using them. The other thing you'll notice here, new school, redesigned shift panel protector, dual recess stitching. And I already talked about the fact that behind it, they've lightened up the materials so you get a little bit easier of a time flexing, a little bit more toe control there. On the medial side of the foot, you're going to see this element along the inside for strength, but it's also dulled and has a rubberized finish. It's more of a TPR. You can see the TPR panel along the heel as well. That's going to interface with your bike, giving you another tactile response point. So again, if this was smooth plastic or hard plastic like it is right up here, you wouldn't feel that against your bike. It would just slide. Notice, third point of connectivity. So 1, 2, 3, all creating a point of connectivity against the plastics of the fairing on your bike, so you're going to get some additional tactile response. And remember, it's CE rated, so there's shock absorbing panels here behind the two pieces of your ankle as well, again on the lateral or medial side. Notice it's all dually recessed stitched, so dual stitching recess, so if you do go down, it's not going to wear out, it's not going to abrade or wear out that stitching over time. And as we rotate around to the back, you're going to see a few materials here. Perforated microfiber, we've already talked about our wings, and you do have stretched D-stone. D-stone is a ballistic style woven textile that Dainese uses. It is proprietary, it is very, very strong, it is very, very light, and it does incorporate stretch. Again, they need to make more jackets using D-stone. We're big fans of D-stone. The other thing across the top here, you're going to see that you do have a softer leather roll across the top to interface with your race suit. And then again, the thing I haven't talked about yet is the fact that, one, it looks great. Two, you have this massive hard part against your shin protection. Typically, Dainese armor along the shin of a race suit is going to come all the way down and actually go behind it. But again, you have this massively vented TPU, which again is going to give you great protection and by way of a hard part across the top of your shin. Now, if we look below that, updates in this boot, this is the difference between, again, that Torque and the Corsa. This is the Corsa D1. Basic leather elasticated bellows. On the Torque, you're going to get a rubberized insert here, a TPR that's vented, that actually vents across the top of the foot, giving you better venting flow. In this boot, they're using a perforation scheme. Handful of different colors. You're going to see this is the two-tone black fluoro. There's our black, white, red, our classic from Dainese, but all in just over the $300 mark. Like I said in the very beginning of the video, and I can't stress it enough, there's a reason I didn't put the TR Course on the table, and that is because the Course D1 is a complete overhaul, stealing from the best technology Dainese is putting in its boots right now on the sport and track-oriented side, completely blowing away what they've done in the past, and now at around the $300 mark, they're making it more attainable. Gold Star, I would not be surprised if we see this in the gear guides for 2017 because it has impressed us, and the fact that they were able to bring the price point down without really diminishing the most key factors means this, in my opinion, will emerge as the juggernaut in the Dainese race collection. The next step in your journey is click the info button, your desktop, your mobile device, visit the product detail page at RevZilla.com, read other rider reviews around the Course D1. You shouldn't just take my word for it. As always, we'll ship for free or $39. If you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown. Remember to subscribe to us at RevZilla on our YouTube channel. Stay up to date with our opinion on the latest and greatest in the moto universe. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.